TxStampin, Sharon. I am super excited today to talk about some embossing folders and different ways you can use them. I've got several ideas for you and I hope that you're inspired. I always love teaching y'all what I learn. And if you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I invite you to hit the subscribe button below and then hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when I upload videos or I do my YouTube lives. I've started doing YouTube lives every Thursday night. I'm super excited about that and I hope that you'll tune in. Let's get started with those embossing folders. On today's video, I'm going to be using the stamp set called Layered with Kindness, and I'm going to be using this gorgeous Parisian Flourish embossing folder. I'm going to be making 3 backgrounds using this folder, and I pulled in my blueberry bushel. On some of the cards, I did use the blueberry bushel ribbon. I hope that I can teach you something that maybe you haven't tried yet. If so, let me know in the comment section below. So I've already ran a piece of Whisper White that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 through that embossing folder. And then I'm going to place it on a scrap piece of the grid sheet. And I'm going to take the stamp pad and I'm just going to go over it. Wow, look at that. Okay. Super pretty, super easy. And I'm just going to go in different directions. I'm trying to keep the pad as straight as possible. But you know what? I don't stress if I don't get it perfect. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't know if it's the blueberry or just the fact of how it does this embossing folder. Look at that. So pretty. So here's what I did. I created this card using that technique, and I pulled in some of the newer punches from the mini catalog. This one is called the Label Me Lovely, and then this one is called Label Me Fancy, okay? 2 new punches. I love punches. And then I just added the ribbon like that. I don't know, I keep looking at it. Should I trim it? Let's see what it looks like if we trim it. You never know. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's not so big and floppy. All right, so that's the first card. For the next one, there are 2 different sides to this embossing folder. For one card, we're going to ink up one side. For the other card, we're going to ink up the other. And then I'm going to show you the difference between the 2. The ink stays dry pretty long with me having it open like this on plastic. It's not going to dry really quickly. So I'm going to take another piece of Whisper White and I'm going to go run it through my die machine. So as I was running it through, it reminded me to talk to you about this die cutting plate. It is a little bit thicker than the clear ones. And since this is a Stampin' Up! 3D embossing folder, you only need this plate. I've had some questions from some of you. I don't have that plate. What else can I do? If you don't have this plate, you're going to struggle. I have tried putting shims of cardstock in there. I just gave up. I decided to go ahead and purchase this. You can purchase one if you need one in my store in the description box below. But I'm telling you, with these new 3D embossing folders, you kind of need this plate. Okay, so let's talk about what it looks like. We actually inked up the debossed parts of just the embossed layer. Oh, does that make sense? All right, so let me show you my card. So there's what I made. Again, using that punch. I used the Label Me Lovely punch, and then for the blueberry bushel, I punched it again, and then I cut it in half and did kind of a mat with it, and then I just kind of wrapped the ribbon around and crisscrossed. Now, I will tell you that this was a little struggle getting it to stay on the back. I just used Scotch tape to hold it in place. Okay, so that's what that looks like. All right, let's see what the next one looks like. So now we're going to ink up the other side. If you're wondering how I'm going to clean this folder, I'm just going to take it to my sink and run water over it. It is really dragging on this side. I will say, gets a little messy, but you know what? What's the fun of crafting if you don't get a little messy? A little soap and water, it'll take it right off. Well, in a day or two. Okay, so I have another piece of cardstock. Place it right there. Go back to my die machine. I do like to have some hand sanitizer on my desk so that when I go to pick up a piece of Whisper White, I don't make a mess. The alcohol really helps get that kind of washed off a bit, but it also prevents it from getting onto any of my cardstock. I've also found that it works better than sometimes just soap and water on these darker colors. Okay, so here is this one, and we did get more ink in the background. I wish it had done it all over, but each card is different and you just never know what it's gonna look like. So let me show you my finished card. I took a piece of the blueberry bushel, ran it through that embossing folder, stamped my happy birthday, punched it out, and like looking at this, if you decided you didn't like that because the rest of it's pretty much the same, just take and add that layer right over that and your card will be perfect. Super, super fun, fast backgrounds. Use any color of ink that you want. Use any ribbon you want. Use any punches you want. But the punches that I used for the Layered with Kindness are the ones that are featured on that page. So we have the Label Me Fancy punch. It has a way to do a slot, which I did do. Did I do it? Yes, I did it on this card right here. I put that slot right there. And then we have the lovely Label Me punch that punches this out, okay? So these two punches are featured with this stamp set. I sure hope that I have inspired you to make some pretty but simple backgrounds using any embossing folder you have, okay? This one is a new one featured in the Holiday Mini, but use any one you have. Happy stamping, y'all!